What's up guys, Winter Kills here. Welcome back to a brand new deck profile. So today I've got my Crusadia build. I had to borrow a couple cards to make this, and I've got a few proxies in the extra deck because I don't know where the hell these cards are. But again, like I said yesterday with the other deck profile that I uploaded, is that I just wanted to make the profile and didn't want to wait for these cards to come in, especially since it's the weekend. I'm gonna have to wait till at least Monday, and I just wanted to get the profile out to you guys because I really like this deck. I found it on stream, and it just came out, obviously, and I wanted to try it out, and I really enjoyed it, and I want to share with all of you this deck that I now enjoy so much. But one thing I want to mention before we go any further, MST TV, you guys probably have heard of him before. That channel. I did a guest commentary with Tombox on his channel as a Danger BA versus a Sky Striker Trickstar matchup, where we both did commentary. It was really fun, and you guys should go check out that video if you haven't already. Huge shout out to Tombox from MST TV for giving me the opportunity. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get right into this deck profile. I'm going to start with the main deck, of course. Watch one of these days. I'm going to start with the extra deck and just completely throw everyone for a loop. But regardless, let's get started with the main deck. Like I said, Crusadia Maximus. This is, and I'll explain to the best of my ability how this deck sort of operates, because I was clueless when I first stumbled across it. So basically, there's a bunch of different main deck monsters. This being the super rare from the latest set, Crusadia Maximus. Basically, all of them sort of have the same summoning condition. They can be special summoned from the hand in defense position to a zone a link monster points to, and then you can only special summon them that way once per turn. It's a hard once per turn, and then they each have different effects based on, you know, where they're summoned, etc., etc. So this guy basically says you can target one Crusadia link monster you control. This turn, if it battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. Also, other monsters you control cannot attack. So, if you've seen this deck play at all, you know it does insane amounts of damage. That's basically what this deck does. It's like glass cannon, OTK your opponent's face off with absurd amounts of damage. Like, we're talking over 8,000 damage. I've seen like 16,000 damage pokes with some of these cards. It's absolutely insane. So this is what this guy does, and I'll sort of explain a sequence later of how you want to get this guy on the board last in your summoning chain, sort of get the most bang for your buck. So 3 Crusadia Maximus is definitely a must, as well as 3 Crusadia Draco. This guy, he's sort of a resource recycler, I would say. Basically, you can special summon in the hand in defense position to his own a link monster points to. So sort of this, obviously they all have the same summoning condition, like I said. Level 4, Wind, and says if this card is normal or special summoned to his own a link monster points to, you can target one Crusadia in your graveyard except himself, and you add it back to your hand. So he does help recycle resources from the graveyard, which is really nice, because you can go through a lot of Crusadia monsters in one turn super fast, just try to link up into your big guy. So it's important to use Crusadia somewhere in your combo if you can to grab back some resources for next turn. Then we have 3 Crusadia Leonis, 1600 attack, 1200 defense. Level 3 Beast says you can special summon this card from your hand. Obviously the same summoning mechanic, I'll skip that part. It says once per turn, or you can target one Crusadia link monster you control. If it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage to your opponent. So this guy, I mean, in most cases, you use these guys as sort of stepping stones to get into the equal max, which is basically how you're going to OTK. But keep in mind they all have these added effects to use as utility. Maybe you need a piercing damage just to win the game outright. You can go ahead and use Leonis for that. And then we have Arborea. We played 2 of Arborea, same summoning condition, but it has an interesting effect that says if a Crusadia monster you control would be destroyed by card effect or battle, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So it sort of acts like a return from the Dragon Lords in the grave to protect your Crusadia monsters. Very helpful, but we only want to play 2 of those. Same goes for Crusadia Reclusia. I don't even know what this one does, honestly, because I never really use it. But it's actually really useful now that I remember, especially combined with the Trap card that says you can target one Crusadia card you control and one card your opponent controls, destroy them. And obviously has the same summoning mechanic as all the other ones does. But that happens when it is summoned to a zone a link monster points to. So in combination with the trap, this card does a lot of work. It clears out problem cards. It's a nice little piece of interruption that you can get for the deck. And you don't want to play 3 because you don't want to brick your hand with too many of the not good ones. Opening Draco and Arborea are probably some of the best because then you can just search the other ones out need be. And then we play 1 World Legacy World Crown. This guy is sort of niche in what he can do. It's sort of a tech card, I would say, but it's pretty standard in most Crusadia builds as far as I'm concerned. It has the same summoning mechanic. You can special summon it in defense to a zone a link monster points to. You can only summon it this way once per turn. And when a monster in the field that was special in the extra deck activates as an effect, you can tribute this card, negate the activation, and if you destroy it. If this normal summon card is tributed, you can add a World Legacy spell trap from your deck to your hand, and then you can only use this effect of World Legacy World Crown once per turn. So the secondary effect where he's normal summoned to search one when he's tributed can come up, but most of the cases he's not going to be normal summoned. You're just going to special summon him out to a link monster. And keep in mind, all the Crusadias, they have effects when something is summoned into a zone that they point to. So that's why, obviously, all these guys work really well. This is sort of an added bonus. It's sort of like a Colossalus, Necrotic Colossalus, to any extra deck monster. So it's a nice little utility to have there. And that is it for all of the Crusadia / World Legacy monsters that we're playing in the main deck. And then we have a Kaiju engine because Kaijus work really well with this deck. 2 Gamma Seal. I've seen some builds play 3. Like, the Kaiju engines I've seen in some builds sort of vary, and then I'm just playing 1 Kumungus and 1 Thunder King. This could be Jizukiru, you could play Dogoran and Kumungus. I just kind of want to shorten the engine as much as I could with 4 different Kaijus. Just so long as, like, you're giving yourself the big Kaiju, the stronger attack Kaiju, whether it's Kumungus or Jizukiru or Thunder King, it really doesn't matter. Because you're just going to be doing so much damage anyways. And then the last 3 monsters we play are Triple Drollknock Bird. This card has no better place than in this deck because it is literally what Drollbird does best, and that is I stop you for a whole turn and then I kill you next turn. It's pretty much just the glory of this card. So that's it for the monsters. Quite a few monsters. Not too many though. Now we'll go into the spells and then to the traps. So for spells we have a small Sky Striker engine. We have 3 Hornet drones. If you're on a budget, sort of like I am, this deck is actually pretty cheap to pick up in all honesty, which is really nice. If you're on a budget, you don't gotta play Engage in here. You can if you want. It's perfectly viable. But I like Hornet drones in here. Also, another honorable, I'll get to the honorable mentions at the end. But yeah, Hornet drones is gonna help you link climb when you sort of don't open the most optimal hand. So that's why I really like this card in here. There's some combos you can do with Kagari and Hayate and Shizuku to link up into some useful cards. And then we have 2, or not 2, but we have 3 Called by the Grave. Going second, combo heavy deck. Very important for preventing the interruption on your plays. I know I was playing this in my Mech Knight deck, and I have since cut it just because it's not super OTK, it's not super combo oriented. But that is a change that I've since made in the last deck profile, just as a heads up. And then we have 2 Pot of Desires, because draw power is really important in this deck. Not too much draw power in it. And then we have 2 Crusader Revival. This is the field spell of the deck. We don't need to play Terraforming in this deck, which is nice because we can search it out super easily with one of our Link monsters. This card says all Crusadia Link monsters in the field gain 500 attack, which isn't too big of a deal, but it adds up. And this is once per turn you can target 1 Crusadia Link monster you control, and it can attack all monsters your opponent controls at once each. Also, other monsters you control cannot attack. And it says even if this card leaves the field, it still gains that effect. So if they Ghost Ogre it, it still applies to that Link monster. It can attack every single thing. And when you're boosting this guy up to 4,600 attack, it's absolutely devastating. So we play 2 Revival. And then we have 2 Crusadia Power. This is a quick play, so you might be able to tell. It says target a Crusadia monster control. That Crusadia monster is unaffected by card effects this turn, except its own. So this is sort of like a Void Seer. If you ever played Infernoids, they have that quick play that protects Infernoid monsters. This is sort of the same. Obviously, it's just for Crusadias, and this card is very helpful when pushing for a game or just trying to establish a board in general. This card can save some of your monsters. in many ways. And then we have 2 instant fusion. I have 1 target in the extra deck. The main reason I'm playing instant fusion in here is because it has the added ability where if you don't have enough, let's say, monster resources in the hand, you can use instant fusion to summon out a card like Ragin, which is what I'm playing in the extra deck, because it can Book of Moon things, it can remove stuff if it needs to, and if it summons to a zone a link monster points to, which in most cases you're going to have to, because it's now the extra monster zone that instant fusion would need to summon into, you're going to get that effect of that Crusadia link monster, and you can go ahead and get an additional search and continue your play. So that's why I like instant fusion. Now we have 2 World Legacy Succession. More monster reborns are really helpful with this deck, especially when they get effects when things are summoned into the zones they point to. Very good spot for this card. And then 1 Interrupted Slumber, 1 Monster Reborn. You could play 3 Succession, but I like just the generic Reborn. Or you could even do 1 Succession, 1 Reborn, and then find something else. And then this is the trap card that I play. It's Crusadia Vanguard. I only play 1 of this because, like I said earlier, you can search out spells and traps pretty easily with this deck via their own effects. And it says, when this, and as it continues, keep in mind, when you activate this card, you contribute 1 Crusadia or World Legacy monster. And if you did special summon a Crusadia or World Legacy monster with a different original name from your deck or graveyard. And it says, while you control a Crusadia Link monster, your opponent's monsters can only target Link monsters for attacks. You can only activate 1 Crusadia Vanguard per turn. So, in most cases, you contribute away something like any not Link monster, but any Crusadia or World Legacy monster that you have. And then you can summon out a guy like this, and then you have protection for any extra deck monsters that sort of come out. Or you could use it to go into, let's see, where is it? This guy, the Reclusia here, and then we can target himself and destroy something. So this card sort of allows for floating and changing out, and the 2 best cards, like I said, are either Reclusia or the Crown, if I can find it. So in most cases, you're going to want to summon into these guys because they do add for some interruption. Just a quick little piece of advice. And like I said, they can only target Crusadia Link monsters for attack. And in most cases, you're ending with a Equal Max or a Regulex, and they're going to have a lot of attack points, which in most cases, they might not even be able to do anything about it at all. So that is it for the main deck, and now we'll go into the extra deck. Okay, so for the extra deck, I've got a couple proxies in here, like I said, because these cards still have not come in the mail for some reason. But it's fine. I have at least 1 copy of every extra deck monster that we need in here, except for 1, which you'll be surprised which one it is. Then I actually don't have it. We have Crusadia Equal Max. We play 2 of these. I'll just put that card upside down there. But basically, Crusadia Equal Max is your main end-all, be-all Link monster that you're going to try and go into, and it is a Link 3 generic Link. It just has 2 plus effect monsters, including a Link monster, so you got to keep that in mind. And then the same arrow scheme as Decode Talker, 2 down in the left and right, and then 1 up to your opponent's side of the field, which is really helpful for what this deck tries to do. It says, gains attack equal to the combined original attack of all monsters this card points to. So, you can kind of see where this is going. Let's say if you give your opponent a kaiju like Gamma Seal, make sure you want to place it at least above the zone that it points to so it can gain that additional attack. So that immediately puts it up to 4,200 when we take that into account, just 1 kaiju. And then it says a monster this card points to cannot attack. And then once per turn, you contribute 1 Crusadia or World Legacy monster this card points to, and then target a face-up card your opponent controls and negate its effects until the end of this turn. So that literally goes for anything. If they play Desires, it's face up in the field, you contribute negate. They play Raigeki, same thing. Hornet Drones, same thing applies, engage, you name it, evenly matched. This card can pretty much negate anything so long as it's face up, obviously, on the field. And it's negated until the end of the turn. So you want to play 2 of these. You could play 3, but I think 2's a good place to start. And then next we have 2 Crusadia Regulex. I actually have 2 copies of these bad boys. 2 effect monsters, including a Crusadia monster. So gains attack equal to the combined original attack of all monsters this card points to. And then it says, if an effect monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, except in the damage step, you can add a Crusadia spell trap from your deck to your hand. So this is going to most of the time set you up to grab any spell that you need before you go into this guy, spell or trap before you go into the equal max to allow to make more plays. So that is something that it's sort of like a ladder that you climb up as the turn progresses, that you want to be able to add new cards to your hand, and this is one of the cards that lets you do that. Starting out at 1,000 attack, link 2, so you can boost this guy up actually a lot because he does have the 2 zones. If you put the Maximus here, you gain 16, and then let's say a Gamma Seal there, so that's 3,800, putting up to 4,800 total with just those 2 monsters. And then he's searching you a spell, which could grab the field spell, which boosts it by 500 more. So we have Crusadia Magius, and I'm playing 2 of these as well. I might play 3 just because it's like the first one that you always go into to start your play. It is a link 1 that says 1 Crusadia monster except himself gains attack equal to the original attack of all monsters this card points to, and the other monsters it points to cannot attack. If an effect monster is special summoned to his own this card points to, you can add a Crusadia monster. And adding Crusadia Maximus is super important because he does double the battle damage. So if you don't open Maximus in your opening hand, you make sure you want to grab him off this. So when you do go into Maximus and you summon him last, you have Maximus to where he points to, gains that 16, 36, and then he's dealing the double battle damage, which is in most cases how you're going to deal that excessive amount of damage. And then I have a small Sky Striker package in the extra deck consisting of Kagari, Hayate, and this would be Shizuku. Just ordered this today, actually. I don't have the blue one. Maybe I'll be able to borrow one from one of my friends when I play this in a dual video. By the way, dual video is coming soon for this, don't worry. But yeah, just a small Sky Striker package because you can use these to link climb if you don't have other plays to make, which is super, super helpful. Most of the times you go into Kagari, add back Hornet Drones into another token, and then you make Hayate, and then you get rid of the token for Shizuku, and then you pretty much have a good link 2 place to start if you need to. Basic package though, not too extravagant. And then we have Borload and Decode as some of your generic links just to out things. And then the same Nightmare package, Cerberus, Phoenix, and Unicorn. Link climbing very, very easy in this deck. And we want to go into our last card here, which is Invoked Raijin. You could play any other fusion, instant fusionable target. I just like Raijin because he's sort of like a double-edged sword. He can come out, trigger one of your link monsters because you summon to his own it points to, and then he can sort of book a moon something if there's a problem card on the field, which is really nice. But now I'm just going to quickly showcase sort of like a random opening hand, and then just kind of go from there. So let's say you just have, I'll give myself these 3 cards, or it doesn't even matter. Just so long as you have a couple monsters in your opening hand. This is just like a basic run through of how you'd work things out. So you go into Leonis, you'd maybe want to normal summon the Leonis, and then you send it to the grave for the link 1, which will be Magus. And make sure this is all on camera so you can see it. Put that up there. So you go into the Magus, and then you would special summon the Draco to that zone. You'd add this back, build your chain links however you feel you want to, and then you search a monster off of this. In most cases, I'm going to grab Maximus because I want him for that extra damage that you're going to be trying to do. So you grab Maximus there usually, or if you already have him, you can grab something else. And then you're going to link away those 2. The Draco adding you back that Leonis, which you can use as summon fodder here. And then you go into Regulex, and then here you can either choose to summon the Arborea, the Leonis, or whatever other monsters you have in your hand. In this case, I would just go into Arborea, because it's going to give us some protection later on. And then here you're going to use Regulex to search that spell. In most cases, you're going to grab the field spell to do the build the extra 500 damage. And then here you can go into the Equalmax, who is the big boss monster of the deck right there. And then since we still have these 2 in hand, we normal summon this for our turn, and we still have this to special summon. You can special summon this here. It does piercing now. Special summon this here, and there you go. It's going to be able to do the double battle damage, and you have the field spell over here, giving it 500, so it's gaining 16, 12, that's 28, 48, putting it to 5,300 attack. It's doing piercing, and it's doing double battle damage. Attack over like a Gamma Seal or some defense position small monster, and then you're in business right there. Or you could use the field spell to make it attack all monsters your opponent controls, and deal even more damage there. But you wouldn't be able to do the double battle damage, but you'd still be able to, or actually, you'd still be able to do the double battle damage because it says if it battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage inflicted your opponent is double. Also, other monsters you control cannot attack. So long as this is the only guy attacking, you could actually combine both of those effects and then swing it at what I said, 53 on every single monster your opponent has. So that's just a basic run through of how you're going to link climb into your monsters, just going through these three guys right here, and then just some monsters in hand. And then things get a little different, obviously, when you add traps in, and like searching the trap, things like that, attributing stuff, using the Sky Striker package in certain ways. And yeah, but that's basically all I wanted to show you guys there. I might do some like combo videos in the future. Who knows? You'll see some the deck in action in a duel video very soon. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, check out that video on MST TV where I was featured on a duel video where I was a guest commentator. Again, thanks to Tombox for giving me the opportunity. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, go check that video out as well. And I'll annotate it at the end if I can remember. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. It was Winterkill signing out. We'll see you in the next one.